Hello and welcome to the show. We've got a good one in store for you today, and we love the opportunity to showcase incredible success stories. Marcus Samuelsson is not only an award-winning chef, he's a podcaster and a philanthropist, building an empire one award-winning cookbook at a time. It is so exciting to have the one and only Chef Marcus here on the show.
How are you?
I'm doing well, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Now I feel like I belong to Atlanta. Like once I'm on the Portia show, everybody told me you gotta be on Portia show. Otherwise, you're not doing Atlanta right.
Oh,
so I feel like I finally arrived.
I feel like I've arrived because you were on the set and I get to eat the fine dining of Chef Marcus. So thank you so much. And thank you for opening a restaurant in Atlanta. We're going to get to that in just a moment, but I just love your story. I love your backstory, and you unapologetically represent Africa and Europe and America. You are truly a three-continent man of so many interesting stories, but it starts in Ethiopia.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. About 2 hours outside Addis Ababa is the big capital in Ethiopia. And I was born in a hut that is basically twice the size of 2 tables in my restaurant.
Wow.
So when you think about really the countryside of Ethiopia, that's really where me and my sister was born. But at that time, Ethiopia was hit with tuberculosis, and my mom had it, my sister had it, and me. And she was very frail, she was very sick, but she walked from the village into the capital. And not only that, she found a hospital for us. She eventually passed away, but me and my sister survived.
Yeah.
And it was a hard start.
And I think it is worth a hard start indeed, but I think it is almost one of the most beautiful acts beyond giving birth to you was her decision to walk. Was it 75 miles? Is that what I read? To get to this hospital, to at least get treatment for her babies.
Yeah.
And then she passed away.
And I've thought about that journey a lot, Portia. What did we eat?
Right.
Anytime I see a woman in Ethiopia in her early 20s, with a couple of kids next to her, I'm like, that could be my mother.
Yeah.
Just basic things when you're adopted, like I've never seen the eyes of my mother, for example. Those things are things that you think about as an adopted child. Even if you're an adult, these things are things that you constantly bear with you,
right,
in every room, in every situation.
And they influence every chapter of your life. So the next chapter of your life is a nurse takes you and your sister and takes you back to Sweden.
Yeah. But I've also been extremely fortunate and lucky, but also been in the hands of the goodness of others.
Yeah.
Right? Just pure goodness of that nurse in the hospital that decided she had 3 kids on her own.
Wow.
Single mother, 3 kids on her own.
Yeah.
And then she took us in. She didn't have to do that, but that saved our lives.
Absolutely. And I want to get to, because there's so many interesting stories, I wish we had time to unpack all of them before we get to the point where you're learning how to cook.
Yeah.
And how that takes you into this journey as a restaurateur.
Yeah, I went from the warmest country in the world to the coldest country in the world. I went from being Kasahunsi guy, that's my Ethiopian name, to Marcus Samuelsson.
Yes.
Right? Just like that switch. I went from eating injera with my hand, and berber and spicy food, to herring and meatballs and potatoes.
Yes.
So there's a lot of contrast, but there was love and structure, right? There was love in both households.
Yeah.
There was, I always felt love. My sister and I, we always felt that we had our family, our extended family. Our parents were there next to us, behind us, in front of us, whether we liked it or not.
But I want to get to how the lessons from
my grandma.
Yeah, your grandmother, how we get to the point that they carry you from Sweden to all over the world training, and then in Harlem and all these cities, big cities where you have restaurants. How did you do that?
Well, it wasn't a linear journey. My parents did not know that much about food. My grandmother was a really good cook, and that was her language, right? Expressing her love to the grandkids through cooking.
Yeah.
So Grandma Helga came from a very poor background, but her food was rich. And I always felt comfortable there. And eventually I started to take started work on weekends in restaurants and loved the energy. Mm-hmm. Restaurants are not for everybody. It's hectic. But for me, there was a sense of calm there.
Yeah.
And quickly, we started to apply for scholarship as a teenager. I was fortunate and got a couple of scholarships, got a chance to go to Japan at an early age.
Right, which influences so much of the food and menu items in different restaurants. I want to point out our viewers are looking at some of the pictures from your beautiful restaurants all over, particularly the one here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Roller skates. I have to hop to these roller skates because I know people have, if they haven't been there yet, they will want to, because you're very intentional about making sure that the restaurant speaks to the city.
Yeah.
And roller skates certainly speak to Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta's been incredible to us. They're really been extremely welcoming to Marcus Bar and Grill in the 4th Ward. You know, where we put our restaurant, we have restaurants, Red Rooster in Harlem, Marcus in Newark. We have Red Rooster in Overtown in Miami. So putting them in predominantly African-American historical communities are important for us. Not just to have a restaurant, but as a gathering spot, as a job creation place, as a place where young professionals can learn how to engage with customer, how to problem solve. So restaurants mean so many different things, right?
Right.
So for us, it's important.
But you wanted it to speak to the community.
Absolutely.
But it also becomes a teaching lesson for so many people in this industry who want to see how we do this. And we're going to keep this conversation going about how you have done this so well. I mean, it is truly an empire, but it is an empire fueled by your passion for people and food, right? All right. You're not going anywhere.
No.
All right. When we return, you're going to hear some of the stories of the influences behind some of the chef's most popular menu items. And then later, we're taking a trip into the kitchen. Of course, you knew we weren't going to have him here and not cook some.
Yes.
Chef Marcus, and he's even brought his favorite mixologist to stir things up a bit. Don't go anywhere. It's about to get even better and tastier when we return. Hey there, Portia here. Listen, that was a good conversation, wasn't it? Want to see the rest of it? Just go to portiashow.com, scroll down until you see that particular episode. But listen, before you scroll on out of here, I need you to do me a favor, please. Like, comment, let us know what you thought of that episode, and subscribe. And if you already are a subscriber, we sure appreciate you. In the meantime, we'll be sure to see you on the next episode of Portia, and you can catch us weeknights on Fox Soul as well. Tell your friends. Tell them to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.